They thought you were weak, fragile, insignificant. They wanted to destroy you. But today you stand as the destroyer. Let me tell you how. The world doesn't know your story. They don't know the depths of your struggle, the battles you fought alone in the dark corners of your mind, or the strength you've pulled from places even you didn't think existed. Everyone saw you as someone to step on, someone whose spirit was too delicate to endure. But they underestimated you. They underestimated the power that was always waiting to rise. Life didn't hand you softness, and it didn't give you easy paths to walk. It gave you battles, challenges that felt impossible to overcome, failures that broke you more than once. The weight of the world fell upon your shoulders, and at times it seemed like nothing could lift it. You were told you weren't good enough, smart enough. Every dream you chased was met with criticism. Every effort you made was mocked. You've heard the whispers, the judgments made about your potential or lack thereof. Those words were meant to break you, to silence you, to make you believe you weren't worthy. The failures piled up, each one heavier than the last. You lost things that were supposed to be the cornerstones of your life. You tried again, only to watch those attempts crumble like dust in your hands. People counted you out, and the voices in your head started to echo those doubts. The world made it clear that you were nothing. But in those moments of despair, there was something you couldn't ignore. The whisper of a voice inside you that said, "You are not done yet." It was faint, at first, a flicker in the dark, barely noticeable, but it was there. And that's when it happened, the first turning point. It was like a spark catching fire, small at first, but burning brighter with each passing moment. You didn't let the darkness consume you. You began to feel the strength in your bones. It wasn't a forceful surge at first, no sudden burst of power, but rather a quiet resilience, a knowing that no matter how far they pushed you, you wouldn't break. That first step, that first sign that maybe, just maybe, you were capable of more than they ever gave you credit for, was the beginning of your transformation. It wasn't an instant victory. The road ahead was still filled with uncertainty, but there was a shift. You started to see that the pain wasn't permanent. The mockery wasn't the end. You began to recognize that the world's attempts to break you weren't signs of your weakness. They were tests of your will. You were never meant to be destroyed. You were meant to rise, and in doing so, you would prove them all wrong. The journey toward becoming the destroyer is not just external. It is an inward battle that nobody sees. The fiercest war is the one fought within, in the silent corridors of your own mind. It is in those moments when the world is quiet that the loudest and most vicious battles take place. There's a constant conflict, a war between the fear of failure and the will to rise. Doubt seeps into every thought, questioning your every move, whispering that maybe you're not cut out for this journey, that you are too weak to face what's ahead. Every step forward is met with an internal voice, one that echoes the judgments of others. You'll never make it, it says. You're just like the rest of them. You don't have what it takes. These voices come from the past, from those who told you you'd never amount to anything. They come from the failures you've faced, telling you that you're no different than the person you used to be, the person who couldn't keep going. And as the world around you grows quieter, those voices get louder, like a storm inside your own head, drowning out any hope you may have had. The weight of their words becomes too much, and you feel yourself being suffocated by their expectations, unable to see beyond the doubt they planted in you. They tell you to quit. They tell you that you're not enough, that you'll never be able to overcome the odds. They are the critics, the ones who doubted your potential from the start, the ones who never understood the fight in you. They are the self-doubt, the fear of failure, the overwhelming pressure that convinces you that it's easier to give up than to keep going. These are the voices that tell you that your dreams were foolish, that you should settle for what you have. They push you to stop chasing greatness, to bury your desires, to let go of the very thing that makes you who you are. And they don't stop. The longer you listen, the louder they get. In those moments, it feels like you're standing at the edge, torn between two choices, giving in to the pressure and walking away, or pushing through, defying everything inside you that says you can't. Every step toward moving forward feels like you're dragging yourself through mud. You question whether it's worth it. Should you give up? Maybe the world was right all along. Maybe you aren't meant for something bigger. The struggle within becomes so intense that it's easy to believe the voices of doubt. It's easy to believe that your past failures define your future. But there's a small voice, a whisper in the chaos, that says, what if they are wrong? What if you're meant to prove them all wrong? That voice is the seed of strength. It's the part of you that still believes in your potential. Despite the fear, despite the doubt, it's that flicker of hope that reminds you that no matter how deep the pain, no matter how hard the fight, there's something within you that refuses to stay down. And slowly, that flicker begins to burn brighter. It's the part of you that rises each time you fall. It's the quiet strength that says, I will not be defined by my failures. I will not be controlled by my fear. I will rise. But this moment doesn't come easily. You have to face the fear, embrace the pain, and walk through the fire. It's not about ignoring the voices of doubt. It's about recognizing them for what they are, temporary. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to rule you. The battle within is about learning to control the narrative of your life, to tell yourself that you are strong enough to face the darkness. And when you face it, something shifts. The moment you start to rise above the internal chaos, when you take one step despite the fear, is the turning point. It's the moment where you refuse to listen to the doubt anymore. You silence it, not by fighting it directly, but by doing the thing it says you can't do. You act in the face of the fear. You push forward in spite of it. That small victory, that decision to move when every part of you said to stop, is your first triumph. It's the moment where you silence the voices just long enough to hear your own. You begin to understand that your strength doesn't lie in the absence of fear, but in the willingness to keep moving forward despite it. This is where your true transformation begins. Not in the moment you conquer the world, but in the moment you conquer yourself. When you push past the fear and doubt that have held you captive for so long, you realize that you are far stronger than you ever thought. You see that the only thing standing between you and your greatness was the belief that you couldn't achieve it. The enemy was never out there. It was inside you. And now that you've faced it, you've won your first battle. The moment of awakening is like the first rays of dawn breaking through the darkest night. It's as though a veil is lifted from your eyes and you can finally see what was always there, the strength within you. Up until now, you have defined yourself by your struggles, your failures, your mistakes. But that's never been your true story. The real story has always been hidden beneath the surface, waiting to emerge. And now, in this moment of clarity, you realize that you are not the sum of your failures. You are not defined by the times you've stumbled, nor by the moments when you felt like giving up. You are a force, a powerful force, capable of rewriting your narrative, of reclaiming your story and transforming it into something extraordinary. This is the moment when the power inside you shifts from a dormant energy to an unstoppable force. You've spent so long letting your setbacks dictate your worth, but now you see them for what they really are. Nothing more than stepping stones on the path to your greatness. Every hardship you've endured, every setback, every time you've been knocked down, has shaped you into the person you are today, a person capable of greatness. They didn't break you, they made you stronger, sharper, more resilient. You were never meant to be defeated by them. You were meant to use them as fuel to ignite the fire inside you. And now, you can feel that fire burning brighter than ever before. The shift in perspective doesn't happen overnight, but in this moment, something clicks. You begin to understand that every struggle, every battle, every moment of pain was a lesson, a test designed to strengthen you. The things you thought were holding you back, your past mistakes, your failures, the wounds that still feel fresh, are not the chains that bind you. They are the tools that have shaped you, that have forged the person you are becoming. They were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to prepare you for the person you are meant to become. You start to see pain for what it truly is, not something to be avoided or feared, but something to be embraced. The pain of the past, the struggle, the hardship, they have all played a role in shaping your strength. Every tear you've shed, every moment of doubt, every failure has served a purpose. It was all part of your transformation. And in this moment, you understand that the more pain you've endured, the stronger you've become. The struggles were not your enemies, they were your teachers. And through them, you've learned the art of resilience, of never giving up, of rising every time you fall. Pain is no longer a sign of weakness, it is the proof of your growth. It is the testament to your strength. This is your empowerment moment, the moment where you realize that you've always had the power to change the course of your life. The power was never outside of you. It was always within, lying dormant, waiting for you to wake up to it. You begin to understand that your potential is limitless, that you are capable of achieving things that once seemed impossible. Your past does not define your future. Your mistakes do not dictate your destiny. You are the author of your own story, and from this moment on, you write the narrative. The world no longer defines you. You define yourself. And in this moment of clarity, you stand tall, stronger than you've ever been, knowing that the power to shape your life has always been in your hands. You have the strength to rewrite your story, to turn every setback into a comeback, every failure into a lesson, and every obstacle into a stepping stone. You are no longer the victim of your circumstances, you are the creator of your own reality. This is the awakening. This is where your transformation begins. And there's nothing that can stop you now. The world has always been quick to judge, to criticize, to tear down what it does not understand. When you began your journey, the opposition came in full force. Criticism, jealousy, and doubt from those who had no idea of the fire burning inside you. They saw your ambitions and called them foolish, your dreams and called them impossible. The world is full of people who will always try to tell you who you are and what you can or cannot achieve, but they only speak from their own limitations, their own fears, and their own insecurities. They cannot see the vision you have for yourself because it is beyond their comprehension, and so, instead of encouraging your growth, they seek to undermine it. Every step forward you made, someone was there to remind you of how far you still had to go. Every triumph you celebrated was met with skepticism, as if they couldn't bear to see someone rise. They wanted you to doubt your journey, to question your purpose. The world told you that you would fail, that your dreams were unattainable. They threw stones, hoping you would crumble under the weight of their words. They created storms of negativity, earthquakes of doubt, hoping that you would lose your balance and fall into the abyss of self-doubt with them. But you refused to be shaken. You understood that the loudest critics are often the most insecure. The ones who can't see the possibilities in their own lives are the ones who will try to convince you that your dreams are out of reach. They use their words as weapons, trying to hold you back, to drag you down to their level of mediocrity. They want you to stay where it's comfortable, where it's predictable, because your rise threatens their complacency. They don't want to see you succeed because it reminds them of the dreams they've abandoned. So they will do everything they can to convince you that you cannot achieve what you've set out to do. But here's the truth. Those who oppose you are merely reflecting their own limitations onto you. They are not your truth. Your truth is not bound by their expectations, their doubts, or their judgments. Your truth is the fire that burns inside you, and it is this fire that propels you forward, no matter how much the world tries to douse it. As the storm rages around you, you learn to stand firm. The winds of criticism and jealousy howl, but you remain unshaken. You learn that the noise is not meant to stop you, it is meant to strengthen you, to test your resolve. The louder the critics, the stronger you must become. The more they doubt you, the more you must rise. And rise you do. As the storm swirls around you, you find your center. You stop looking outward for validation, for approval, for permission. You stop listening to the noise and start listening to the voice within. You see yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as the author of your own story. You are the one who decides the outcome. The world may try to bring you down, but you refuse to let it. You begin to rise above the noise, to tune out the distractions and to focus on the mission that only you can accomplish. You understand now that you are in control, that your vision is the one that matters. The opposition fades into the background as you move forward with clarity and purpose. In the face of opposition, you find your focus. You stop being swayed by the opinions of others. You understand that your journey is yours alone, and no one else can walk it for you. The distractions that once pulled you in every direction begin to lose their power. The world no longer has the ability to dictate your worth or your path. You are no longer swayed by the opinions of those who don't understand your vision. The more you rise, the more you see the world as it truly is, a reflection of the fears and insecurities of others, and you choose not to let their fears define you. But there is a secret to rising above the noise that many fail to understand. Silence. In the face of criticism, in the face of opposition, silence becomes your greatest ally. It is in silence that you find your strength, your clarity, your power. When the world is screaming at you, telling you what you can't do, silence allows you to tune into your own voice, your own truth. It allows you to block out the distractions and focus on what truly matters, your mission. The power of silence lies not in ignoring the world, but in choosing not to be swayed by it. You no longer feel the need to justify your choices, to explain yourself to those who don't understand. You don't need the approval of others to know that you are on the right path. Silence is not weakness, it is strength. It is the power of stillness in the face of chaos. It is the power of inner peace when the world around you is in turmoil. The more you embrace silence, the more you embrace your own power. You begin to understand that your energy is precious, and it is better spent focusing on your goals than engaging in battles with those who don't matter. The world can throw whatever it wants at you, but as long as you remain silent, as long as you stay focused, you will continue to rise. As you rise above the noise, you realize that nothing can hold you back. The critics can shout, the storms can rage, but they are no longer a threat to you. You've learned to rise above them, to move through the chaos with purpose and clarity. The power was never in fighting the noise, it was in learning to ignore it, in choosing to stay focused on what matters. And as you continue to rise, you know that the noise will only get louder, but you will only get stronger, because you are the destroyer and nothing can stop you now. You have fought, you have struggled, and you have risen above the noise. But now, it's time for you to truly step into your power, to embrace your true identity. The world may have tried to destroy you, but they couldn't. They didn't realize that your purpose was never to be destroyed. It was to destroy everything that stands in the way of your greatness. You are not here to be a victim of your circumstances. You are here to conquer, to break the chains, to crush the barriers, and to reshape your reality. You are the destroyer, and it's time for you to fully embrace that power. It's not an easy thing to accept at first. The word destroyer often carries negative connotations: violent, ruthless, and vengeful. But in your case, the true meaning of destruction is something far more powerful. To destroy does not mean to tear down for the sake of destruction. It means to dismantle everything that limits you, to break down the barriers that have kept you from reaching your full potential. The destruction is not about violence. It's about transformation. It's about clearing the path so you can build something greater, something that is truly yours. You destroy the old so that the new can emerge. And this new, you, is unstoppable. As you begin to step into your role as the destroyer, you realize that destruction is not just something that happens around you, it's something that happens within you. Every obstacle, every setback, every challenge that once seemed insurmountable now becomes an opportunity. Where others see walls, you see doors. Where others see obstacles, you see stepping stones. The belief in your own abilities grows stronger with every battle you win. Your strength comes not just from surviving, but from transforming everything that stands in your way into fuel for your rise. The more you face, the stronger you become. The more you destroy, the more you build. The power of the destroyer lies not in brute force, but in inner strength. It lies in the ability to face adversity and turn it into an advantage. The world can throw everything at you, but it no longer matters because you've learned to use it as fuel. The fire that once burned against you is now the fire that propels you forward. The storm that once threatened to drown you is now the storm that lifts you up. And with each challenge you face, you grow stronger, more capable, and more confident in your ability to destroy anything that stands between you and your greatness. But the destruction you must face isn't just external. To truly become the destroyer, you must first dismantle the old patterns of thinking that have held you back. You must destroy the self-doubt that still lingers in the corners of your mind, the voices that told you that you weren't enough, that you couldn't succeed, that you would never reach your potential. These voices must be silenced once and for all. They are no longer relevant to your journey. As you move forward, you leave behind the limitations that once defined you. The old versions of yourself, the ones who doubted, who feared, who faltered, those versions no longer exist. You have destroyed them, and in their place stands someone unrecognizable, someone who is capable, powerful, and unstoppable. Metaphorically, you become the storm, the fire, the earthquake. The destruction is not just of the world around you. It is the destruction of your old self. The person who didn't believe, the person who wasn't ready to fight for greatness, is no longer who you are. You are the force of change. You are the force that reshapes reality. And as you embrace this role, you start to see that everything in your life can be remade. Every step back is a lesson in resilience. Every failure is a chance to grow, and every challenge is simply a test to see how far you can go. The moment of true transformation is when you realize that nothing can stand in your way anymore. You've reached a point where the obstacles that once seemed impossible to overcome now feel like mere stepping stones. You understand now that you are not defined by the challenges you face. You are defined by your ability to rise above them, to crush them, to rebuild your path with the rubble they leave behind. No matter how great the storm, you are the eye in the center, calm and unshaken. No matter how high the wall, you are the force that brings it crashing down. You are the destroyer, and nothing can stop you now. This realization is the turning point. This is the moment when you finally step into your power and understand that you have always been capable of greatness. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are the creator of your destiny. The moment you fully embrace your role as the destroyer, you unlock the full potential within you. You are no longer a passive observer of your life. You are the architect, the warrior, the creator. You are the force that transforms the world around you. And with that power, you begin to realize that your victory is not just for you. It is for everyone who has ever doubted you, everyone who has ever tried to hold you back. Your success is a message to the world that anything is possible, that you can rise above anything, conquer anything, and destroy anything that stands in your way. The moment you embrace your true power as the destroyer, you realize that you have become the greatest version of yourself. You are unstoppable. You are limitless. You are the force that changes everything. You have risen, you have conquered, and now the true test begins. What will you do with your power? Becoming the destroyer is not just about overcoming the obstacles that once stood in your way. It's about creating a new world, a new future, a path that only you can carve. The power you now wield is not simply for your own triumph. It is meant to be used to build something better from the ashes of your past. The world you now live in is one that you have shaped through your resilience, your strength, and your unwavering belief in yourself. You have destroyed the limitations that once held you back, and in their place, you are building a legacy that will last long after you are gone. Being a destroyer means that you are not merely focused on surviving or conquering. It means that you take the lessons from your journey, the wisdom you've gained, and you use them to create something greater. You no longer destroy for the sake of destruction. You destroy to rebuild, to create, to manifest a future that is different from the past. Your destruction has cleared the path for a new vision, a vision that was once impossible but is now reality. You have the power not only to change your own life, but to change the lives of others, to shape the world around you in ways that no one ever thought possible. The true destroyer is the creator, the builder of a new world. But the journey doesn't end with your own victory. Now that you have conquered, you have a responsibility to guide others who are still struggling. You understand what it's like to feel lost, to doubt your strength, to feel like the world is against you. But you've made it through, and now it is your turn to help others find their way. As you rise, you become a beacon for others, a mentor, a guide. The power you have acquired is not just for yourself. It is meant to be shared. The satisfaction that comes from guiding someone else through their own darkness is immeasurable. You've been there, and now you have the wisdom to lead others out of it. Mentorship is about giving back, about showing others that their dreams are possible, that their struggles can lead to something greater. It's about showing them that they too have the power to destroy the obstacles in their way and to create a future that is theirs. The responsibility of being a mentor is profound. You are not just passing on knowledge. You are passing on the belief that they can achieve what you've achieved. The joy that comes from helping others rise is unmatched. As you see those you've mentored begin to break through their own limitations, you realize that your journey was never just about you. It was always about others, about creating a ripple effect that will continue long after your own story is written. And as you guide others, you begin to realize that you are leaving behind a legacy that will continue to shape the world long after you are gone. What you do in this life will echo through the generations. The people you've helped, the lives you've changed, the paths you've cleared. All of these things will continue to impact the world long after you've moved on. Your legacy is not just in the success you've achieved, but in the way you've transformed the lives of others. Your legacy is in the strength you've passed on, the hope you've instilled, the belief you've sparked in others that they too can rise above the darkness and create something great. But understand this, the journey doesn't end with your legacy. The road ahead is long, and there will always be more challenges to face. The destroyer never stops moving, never stops creating. There will always be more obstacles to dismantle, more lives to touch, more paths to create. The world you've built is not static, it is always evolving, always growing, always expanding. You have reached a new level of strength, wisdom, and fearlessness, but the work is never done. With every victory, there is a new battle to fight, a new mountain to climb. And now you are ready to face those challenges with the strength and wisdom that you've gained on your journey. Ready to rise again and again with the knowledge that nothing can stop you. The long road ahead is not one of fear or hesitation. It is a road of confidence, of purpose, and of endless possibility. You have the power to continue shaping your life, to continue helping others, and to continue leaving your mark on the world. The destroyer doesn't rest, doesn't retreat. The destroyer moves forward, always creating, always building, always leaving a legacy that will inspire generations to come. You are not just a survivor of the challenges you've faced. You are the creator of a new world, a new future, and a new path. And the journey you're on has only just begun. They wanted to destroy you. From the very beginning, they sought to bring you down. They threw obstacles in your path, tried to break your spirit, and doubted your strength. They believed that you would fold under pressure, that you would crumble beneath the weight of their criticism, their rejection, their betrayal. They thought they had the power to crush your dreams, to silence your voice, to make you disappear. But in the end, they were wrong. Because you didn't just survive, you rose. You became something they never anticipated. You became the destroyer. And now you stand at the top of the mountain. The storm has passed, the obstacles have been destroyed, and you are the force that has shaped your destiny. The challenges you faced were never meant to defeat you. They were meant to awaken the power within you, to forge you into someone who could not only overcome the odds, but rewrite the very rules of the game. You have become the master of your fate, the creator of your reality, and the author of your own story. Now it's time to take the next step. This is not the end, it is only the beginning. Your journey doesn't stop here. The power you've gained, the strength you've cultivated, is meant to be put to use every single day. You are not meant to sit back and watch life pass you by. You are meant to dominate it, to rise above the challenges that come your way, to face them head on and destroy them, just as you've destroyed everything that stood in your path up until this point. Every day is an opportunity to take action, to step forward with purpose, and to continue building the future you've always dreamed of. So, I challenge you, don't just live your life, dominate it. Every single day, rise with the intention to conquer, to break through, to shatter any limitations that come your way. You are no longer a passive participant in your own story. You are the one who holds the pen. You are the one who decides how your life unfolds. And with every action you take, with every step you make, you add to the legacy of strength, resilience, and power that you've already created. The world will never see you the same way again. They may have doubted you, tried to break you, and thought they could destroy you, but now they will see for what you truly are. An unstoppable force, a creator of your own destiny, and a destroyer of obstacles. You will be the one to inspire others, to show them what's possible, to be the example of what it means to rise from the ashes and create something greater. As you move forward, remember this: there is no limit to what you can achieve. The only thing that can stop you is the belief that you can't. But you've proven that belief wrong time and time again. You've faced the storm and you've emerged stronger, more powerful, and more unstoppable. You are the destroyer, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stand in your way now. The journey is yours to take. The future is yours to create. Go out and dominate it. The world is waiting for you.